AI at the workplace. There was a meeting and then they asked what is AI, and then the guy said, AI is ChatGPT. But AI is not ChatGPT. I want to read a few quotes and then you let me know if you think it was AI that wrote it or it was a human being that said it. It always seems impossible until it's done. AI, human. That's a quote from. So you see, already we can't distinguish the difference between AI and then human. So it should show us that in a few years' time, like it will be a thin line. Like there will be no line. In fact, AI won't take your job. It's someone who knows how to use the AI, who has adapted to it, that will take the job from you. Right? Your workplace is anywhere you create value and then you expect a return. So I want us to debunk the idea of workplace as in I can only use AI in an office. You can use AI to support your side hustle. AI can give you the greatest skill we need in this generation is not a technical skill. It's not how to use AI. The first thing we need actually is.
Welcome, dear listeners, to the School of Growth podcast. We are thrilled to be your guide on this transformative journey. Join us as we explore the realms of personal development, unveiling the path to becoming the best version of yourself. Get ready to dive into inspiring conversations and practical insights. I'm excited to have you with us. Let's embark on this journey together.
AI at the workplace. How can we maximize AI for workplace success, right? And I want to start with a quote. The quote says that AI will keep climbing. That's not up to us. But how fast we climb with it, that is entirely up to us. There's a saying that AI grows exponentially, but humans grow linearly. So if you're comfortable with math, I believe we all did math. Exponential, if we have a graph, linear growth is something like this. Exponential is something like this. So linear growth is more of an addition. Exponential is more of a multiplication. So already AI is growing at a faster rate than we are growing. So if you don't make a conscious effort to catch up, you'll be left behind, right? So I want to read a few quotes and then you let me know if you think it was AI that wrote it or it was a human being that said it. Are we okay? Okay, so the first one is, I completely understand your frustration and I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Let's get this fixed for you right away. Yeah. Okay, it's a human being. Yes. So the second one, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Human. Okay, that's from James Clear from Atomic Habits. Okay, the next one. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. AI is human. So it's a quote by Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor. Right. Let's take the last one. It always seems impossible until it's done. AI. Human. That's a quote from Nelson Mandela. So you see, already we can't distinguish the difference between AI and then human. So it should show us that in a few years' time, like it will be a thin line. Like there will be no line, in fact. So I think we can move on. So when we say workplace, what comes to your mind? Can we have like two people? When you hear workplace, what comes to your mind?
Environments to do a task.
Okay. Okay. Well, when I saw the topic, when Senior sent the topic to me, the first thing that came to my mind was a desk, a boss, a 9 to 5. Because when we hear workplace, we're like, oh, like the office, I wear suit and tie. Yeah. But workplace goes beyond that. Workplace is anywhere. So I think we can go to the next slide. So your workplace is anywhere you create value and then you expect a return. So if you have a side hustle, if you are selling jewelry on the side, you are selling anything on the side, it can be your workplace. Someone in the market, that's their workplace. You don't necessarily have to be seated in a suit or be in an official space before you can consider it a workplace. All right. So I want us to debunk the idea of workplace as in I can only use AI in an office. You can use AI to support your side hustle. AI can give you content ideas. AI can give you captions for your videos. Yeah, so we can use AI everywhere. And the workplace is anywhere you create value and expect a return. Okay, so the next one is AI. When you hear AI, what do you think? I'm sure there was a meeting and then they asked what is AI, and then the guy said, AI is ChatGPT. But AI is not ChatGPT. And in fact, we've been interacting with AI long before ChatGPT came. And ChatGPT falls in a bracket called generative AI. So if you've ever used Netflix, if you've ever used Instagram, TikTok, there's AI embedded in all those platforms way before generative AI came about. We'll talk about that in a bit. So I think we can move on. Now, there are various types of AI or systems. We have the general types. We can say narrow AI, general AI, machine learning. They are all branches under AI. Now, when you go further into narrow AI, we have systems like predictive AI that deals with forecasting. So if you have a weather app on your phone, and I think the weather app has been there for a long time, so we know that AI has been with us not today. So the weather app is an example of an AI. Recommendation systems, your TikTok for you page, Instagram for you page, Netflix suggestions, they are all examples of AI in use, right? Generative AI, this is where we find our joy, our Claude, ChatGPT for creating, yeah. Now, the newest model where AI is going towards now is agents. So I don't know if you've heard of AI agents before. People are transforming their workspace with agentic workflows. I can sit here and tell my agent that look online and then book the cheapest flight for me from book the cheapest flight from Accra to Boston, and it will check until it gets the cheapest. So it has gone a step ahead of generative AI where you just prompt and get a response. AI is actually doing work for you. If you are conversant with Claude, there's something called Claude Co-work. It goes into your files. It can read and write files for you, right? So AI is shifting and we need to shift with it. Can we go on? So I think the greatest skill we need in this generation is not a technical skill. It's not how to use AI. The first thing we need actually is adaptability. Now, when you hear adaptability, what comes to your mind? I want maybe two people to give me a word or something that comes to your mind when you hear adaptability. Yeah. Able to cope with change. Okay. One last person. Okay. So when we talk about adaptability, I think we expect words like flexibility, we expect words like agility. So you should be able to change as things are changing. So I have a definition for adaptability here. So it says adaptability is the capacity to change your approach, skills, or thinking in response to a changing environment. So as the environment is changing, you need to be able to change with the environment. However, there's a caveat that says without losing who you are or what you are aiming for. So if you have a goal and then you change the goal entirely, you are not adapting. That's like total change. Adaptability is to adjust to the situation while maintaining your goal, right? So the reason why adaptability is important is because the workplace today is changing. Now, think about it. The technology we used to operate on in our workplaces some years ago, we don't use them anymore. Now, there's new technology. We are all aware of this. Now, customer expectations are changing. Your consumers expect more from you because they know like AI is present. Now, I can sit in my house and do something. So if I ask you to do it for me, I expect a better result from you, right? Competition is changing. If I'm working, if my competition is Naomi, because of AI, maybe I was ahead of Naomi in market shares. Now Naomi can take over because there's an advantage that like levels the playing field now, right? Business processes are changing. The way we do things in the workplace is changing because of AI. Job roles and responsibilities. I think for this one, we've been crying that AI will take your job, AI will do this. Job roles are changing, right? AI is taking over some jobs, and I think we'll talk about that later. Recruitment and talent management, customer service, a lot is changing because of AI today, right? So in talking about adaptability, I want to ask, how do lobsters grow? Does anyone know how lobsters grow? How lobsters? You know lobsters, right? Yeah. Okay. I want us to watch a video, then we can talk about it.
A lobster is a soft, mushy animal that lives inside of a rigid shell. That rigid shell does not expand. Well, how can the lobster grow? Well, as the lobster grows, that shell becomes very confining. The lobster feels itself under pressure and uncomfortable. It goes under a rock formation to protect itself from predatory fish, casts off the shell, and produces a new one. Well, eventually, that shell becomes very uncomfortable as it grows, right? Back under the rocks. And the lobster repeats this numerous times. The stimulus for the lobster to be able to grow is that it feels uncomfortable. Now, if lobsters had doctors, they would never grow, because as soon as the lobster feels uncomfortable, goes to the doctor, gets a Valium, gets a Percocet, feels fine, never gets off its shell. So I think that we have to realize that times of stress are also times that are signals for growth. And if we use adversity properly, we can grow through adversity.
I wanted us to watch this to illustrate how we should change. So the lobster only grows because it casts off the old shell. Now, there are certain things that we know now we have to unlearn to relearn, right? In order to move forward, we have to leave some things behind. The skills that we used last year in the workplace might not suffice for next year. The problems that we solved this year will evolve next year. There will be bigger challenges. So we need to put off our shell or put off everything that makes us comfortable. There's a saying that, okay, I don't remember verbatim, but it's about success. And it says that you're only successful if you're able to change or to grow, right? To change. So in terms of growth, the only thing that is constant is adaptability, right? We need to be able to adapt. And for those of us who are familiar with football, when there's success or when a team scores the first goal, the manager is most at times worried. There's a study to this, because the team that just scored will be forced to go into a defensive shape for 3 to 5 minutes. Now, this is to say that when we experience success, we take our foot off the gas, right? Once we feel like, oh, we're able to solve this problem this year, we're able to achieve this year, we don't see the need to grow. We don't see the need to learn new things or to adapt to new things, right? So the video was basically teaching us how we have to cast off our shells, the old things we know, to be able to learn the new things ahead. So there's another quote that I want us to take note of. It says, you probably won't be replaced by AI. You might be replaced by a person who has adapted to AI better than you. So AI won't take your job. It's someone who knows how to use the AI, who has adapted to it, that will take the job from you. Right? Now, I wanted us to look at some facts. So the first one is 66% of leaders say that they won't hire someone without AI skills. What this means is that if you take 100 employers, about 66 of them say that don't employ someone who doesn't have AI skills. Now let's jump to the third one. It says only 39% of employees have received AI training from their employer. So if you take 100 people, only 39 of them were trained by their employer in the area of AI. But they are saying that 66% of the leaders say they won't employ someone who doesn't have skills in AI. So where are we going to get the skills for you to employ us? The onus lies on us to look for those skills to make ourselves attractive to the marketplace, right? By 2030, 59% of the global workforce will require training or reskilling because of AI and other technological changes. So it means when you take 100 people, 59% of them will have to train in AI or learn something new because of the emergence of AI to be able to get jobs by 2030. And 2030 is just like 4 years away. So there's a necessity for us to learn these things. Yeah. The second thing I want us to talk about. So for those who just came in, we spoken about we just started and we spoke about how to use AI and then how to adapt to AI. Now we are going to talk about value addition. When we talk about value addition, there are two words that I want us to take note of. The first is efficiency, and the second is effectiveness. Now, efficiency is doing the job right. I learned this from Mr. Tukwe. Efficiency is doing the job right. Now, effectiveness is doing the right job. So, efficiency is what your boss expects from you. You have been hired to do a job. So, when you come in, your boss expects you to do A, B, C, D. That's what has been assigned to you. Effectiveness is what you show your boss here that he should expect from you. So, I'll give an example. You work in a place that uses a manual filing system. So when someone comes in, you fill paper and then you put it in a file. When you need to retrieve that, you have to go through files. Okay, what did you say your name is? A, B, C, D, E, F, J. Okay, J. Then you find, oh, Jachi, then you take the file out. Now, maybe it takes you 20 minutes to do that. You can be effective by building a system. It can be something as simple as an Excel file that maps the number or the name of the person to a certain number. So maybe Goshen is number 1. Then you store that in the file. So when Goshen comes and says, oh, or when you have to attend to Goshen, you need the file, you just go to your Excel file. For those of you who are conversant with Excel, you can just do find. Then you look for his name. It tells you the number. You go to the file and you pick it up. Now that's effectiveness. So you take this to your boss and say, oh, boss, I thought about this and then I've developed a system. So what takes your office 20 minutes now takes them only 2 minutes. That's being effective. That's showing your boss what he didn't think can happen, right? He thinks, oh, it takes us 15 minutes to get a file. And that's the end of it. There's another example I want to share. In my workplace, there's a report I'm supposed to share every morning at 9:15, but I'm only able to pull the data at 9 o'clock. So between 9 o'clock and 9:15 means I always have to be seated to make sure that I pull the data and then I prepare it, I analyze it, and then I share the report. So I did that for some time and I realized that I can't keep doing this because it takes a lot of time. Sometimes I end up sending the report after 9:15. So I took everything and then I gave it to AI. I explained whatever I wanted to do. And then it guided me to build a dashboard. Now, because I built the dashboard, now the only thing I have to do is I download the data, I put it in, I refresh. Then all the analysis is done. So I don't have to use 15 minutes. Now I use 5 minutes at most to prepare the whole document and share, right? That's effectiveness. There was an example senior shared some time ago. He said his boss called him and said he should help a colleague in the office. When he went, they wanted to do something in Excel with about 10,000 entries, if I'm right. And basically, they had data from all the banks. And then they wanted to summarize by banks according to currency and by currency according to banks. And what they were going to do was they were going to take, let's say, euro. Then they'll delete all the pound, all the dollar, and then they'll sum it up. Then they'll undo. Then they'll do pound. They'll delete everything and they'll sum. But he just went in there and then he he used pivot tables. For those of you who are commenting, just 1 minute, and then he was done. And they were surprised. And that's effectiveness. Efficiency would have been, we go through everything. Okay, they say we should do the work, so let's copy, let's paste, let's sum, let's delete, let's undo. We'll get the work done maybe in 2 days, but we've done the work. But effectiveness is finding a more efficient way, if I can say, to do the work, or a faster way to do the work, right? So there's this example here too. Two woodcutters were asked to take down a tree. Now one swings his axe non-stop and he never rests. He's just swinging. Then the other stops every hour to sharpen his axe. The first person is being efficient. They say we should cut, so I'm cutting. But the second person is being effective because he knows that after 1 hour, maybe his axe will go blunt. So he has to stop and sharpen his axe, right? That's effectiveness. So efficiency without effectiveness is just fast motion in the wrong direction, right? So how do we tie this to AI? AI is brilliant at efficiency. So efficiency alone no longer sets you apart. If you ask AI to write you an email, it will write you an email. If you ask AI to do anything for you, it will do anything for you. Like, you can create anything with AI now. So getting something now is no longer a benchmark. You need to go a step further, right? I think I'll skip this. This is just a scripture from, can go back. Scripture from Matthew 25:14. We can find time to read it in here when we go later. How do we actually get value, right? The first point I have here is start with the outcome, not with the tool. Now, what do I mean by start with the outcome? So people who stay at the efficiency level open AI and ask, what can this do? But people who become effective start with, what result do I actually need? And then they work backward. So you know your end goal, you know the outcome, you know what you're expecting. Then when you go to the AI, you can get that. But if you just go and say, oh, okay, write an email for me, it will just write something generic for you, right? The second point is be specific. Vague in, vague out. I think there's an acronym, garbage in, garbage out. Yeah, but you can take this vague in, vague out. Now this says that the gap between someone who gets real value from AI and someone who gets generic stuff is almost entirely about specificity, right? You need to be specific about what you're looking for. The third one is treat the first output as a draft. So when you prompt AI and then it gives you a response, you don't just take it and go and submit it. Nanael shared a story with me of how a lady, she was participating in a competition and then I think they disqualified her because she used AI. She copied everything and then she put it in the answer box. Then when they were reviewed, they saw that the AI gave an example and the AI said, for example, me, AI, if I do this and this and this. So once they saw that, they were like, use AI for this way. So they just disqualified it, right? So whatever you get, you need to treat it as a draft and then you narrow it down, you work on it to get your output. Also, automate the repeatable and then protect the judgment. Work or things that you have to do every day that are repetitive, it can stress you out. If you can automate it, please do. Right? Please do. And then keep sharpening the actual craft. The actual craft is you yourself. Without knowing what good is, you can't actually tell. So if AI gives you, they say, oh, this is good, this is good. But if you know what you are looking for, you can tell that, oh, nah, I don't want it this way. Rephrase this. Check grammar. Change your tone. Do this, right? You can narrow down. You don't just accept whatever AI has given you and then you give it back. Yeah. I don't know if we can do this. I wanted two people to prompt AI. You can just take your phone. The first person should just write to prompt the first one, the vague prompt. Then the second one can take the second one. So code and then NK, code and NK. Yeah. So you are supposed to prompt with the second one, the specific prompt, and then code is supposed to prompt with a vague prompt. Then let's look at the output. Yes. So yeah, what are you using? Chat. NK chat. ChatGPT. Yeah. So with what we spoke about in the previous slide, the first prompt is very vague. Write a WhatsApp message inviting people to a School of Growth meeting. It will write something for you, but you might not like it. But the second one, you are ready. Okay, so you can. Okay, let me. So the message is you are invited to School of Growth. Are you ready to grow spiritually, gain practical wisdom, and become all that God has called you to be? Join us for our School of Growth meeting as we learn, share, and grow together in God's Word. Date, time, venue. Come with an open heart and invite a friend along. We look forward to seeing you there. Grow in grace and knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. Okay. So I hope you have that in mind. Okay, do you have your result? So this is, hello everyone. You are warmly invited to this Sunday School of Growth meeting at 1 p.m. in the Teens Dome. Please arrive 15 minutes early so we can start on time. This week's session is on AI at the workplace, a practical conversation on how to use AI to work smarter, improve productivity, and become more effective in your career and daily tasks. Whether you are a student, professional, entrepreneur, or simply curious about AI, this session will give you valuable insights you can start applying immediately. Don't miss this opportunity to learn, grow, and connect. We look forward to seeing you there. Invite a friend and come ready to learn. Can we see the difference? So the second prompt gave us a very specific message targeted to the people we're actually looking for with all the details. This one was just like, oh, come to School of Growth, God be with you. I mean, we didn't even say, we didn't even talk about church. Just say, oh, just giving us a vague answer because you gave it a vague prompt, right? So we need to be very specific about what we are prompting. Now, Jim Rohn has a quote that says, in 5 years, you arrive. The question is where? I want us to ask ourselves, if we start learning how to use AI today, in 5 years' time, we will definitely arrive. As for arriving, we will arrive. But how will we arrive? If you don't use AI, if you don't start using AI, learning how to use it today, in 5 years you arrive, where will you also be? If you stay the same now, do you think you'll be employable in 5 years' time? If you don't learn anything new, do you think you'll be employable in 5 years? You probably have faded out. But in 5 years, if you keep learning, keep sharpening your skills, you'll be very employable, right? So in closing, I want us to take one thing, write one thing that you want to start doing or one task that you want to be effective with this week or this month or this year, the remaining part of the year, and then try and see if you can use AI to get it done. It can be in your workplace, can be in your personal life. You can write it now so that you don't forget. I'm sure when you leave here, you will forget. But if not, you can also think about it. So don't use AI to do small things faster. Use it to finally get to the big thing. We use AI to say, oh, write an email for me, write this for me, write this for me. Those are the small things. Can we achieve bigger with it? Yes, we can. So let's aim for that. In the beginning, we said that AI will keep climbing. How fast we climb with it is up to us. But now I want to say AI will keep climbing. How fast you decide to climb with it is up to you. So we came here as a group, but we are living individually, right? So it's up to us personally to grow or to climb with AI. Right. The future belongs to people who continuously learn. AI is not replacing everyone, but workers who adapt to AI will have a significant advantage over those who don't. So I think that will be the end of my presentation today. If you have any questions.
One of the things that a lot of people would struggle with is that over time, you would get used to the AI. And what that steals from you is your ability to think. So one of the things I tell people is that you should maintain your originality. So you don't go to AI as the first sale point. So if you have anything to do, the first thing should be your brain before you go to the AI. You don't go to the AI before your brain. Because if you go to the AI, it limits you, because now you have something that it's pointing you to. So once you want to do something, the first thing you should ask yourself is, what do you want? That's why I like what Michael started with, that you start with the end goal in mind. So it's very important for you to have that in mind. And bear in mind that the AIs have a limit to how much you can get from them if you are not paying. So over time, the fear is that you get to a point that the free version is so limited that you have to pay huge sums of money for you to, because now you can't think on your own. So I entreat everybody. That's one of the major disadvantages I see about the AI. The other thing I would add is that you should also know that you are not the only one using the AI. So if you don't maintain originality, then you cannot distinguish between the quality of your work and someone else who is also using the AI. So your ability to think shouldn't be taken away from you. You see, I use AI to an extent. So when I see something that the AI has produced, I know. And your bosses are also likely to know. The public is also likely to know. So if you work in an organization and everything you do is AI, you begin to lose credibility, because people can see. You know, AI likes using a lot of exclamations. They use a lot of long dashes. So you see, if you use AI, you begin to know how the AI thinks. So the moment I see a report, you know, so I like Michael's slides, but I know he used AI to build the slides. You see, so because AI has a way it puts slides together. So although he gave AI the information to use for the slides, you can tell that AI is the one that builds the slides for you. Do you get what I'm saying? So if someone else does slides and I see Michael's slides, I'll know which one has been used by AI. Do you get what I'm saying? So as much as possible, I really feel sad for Gen Zs. Do you know why? Because Gen Zs are growing up with AI. Even Gen Alphas are even worse. But for some of us, me, I'm a millennial, we grew up without AI. So we grew up thinking a lot. So now the AI is just for us to add on to what we think about, you know. I can imagine, senior, in school, imagine we had AI whilst we were in school. You know, but for us, we went through school the hard way. So we don't start. Now, when you give a student a question, I can bet you that 100% of students will start with the AI. But most of us, there was no AI. So senior, I don't know if you have anything to add on the disadvantage.
All right. So it's very, very key. Now, there's a case with Deloitte. Very serious matter. So apparently, the US government gave them a project to work on, and then some of the team members used AI for their aspect of the work. And then when they were aggregating all the work, they didn't highlight that for our work, we engage AI to a certain extent. So when the submission was made to the final people, it was realized that there was something wrong with the entire document. So if the budget was $50,000, there was a penalty because they didn't use like the conventional way of producing such reports. So as Michael rightly said, when you are working in a company, right? So there are policies. You see, when it comes to AI, the policy is even more important than what you want to do with the outcome, because organizations are different from individuals. So we have to separate your individual use from organizational use. But the focus for today is at the workplace. So some people are not, the generations you mentioned, so some bosses are not even aware that there's something called AI. Today is almost 26th July, but they don't care. You understand? So we, the ones who are in touch, have to speak at meetings. You have to introduce them to some of the things. They don't know. So they might even, for instance, for you to use some of the features, you have to pay. Now, for the paid version, if a company is paying for you, they might get quite a leverage for everybody than you paying on your own to do company work. So for the Deloitte one, because it was fresh, I'm not sure they even had a company policy guarding the use of AI in official work. So they surcharged them, and then you have to refund that aspect. It was a very big blow. See, Deloitte deals with integrity. The nature of work they produce, one like H can let you lose a lot of. And then nature of work was the US government, and they are very loud. Like Trump is very loud. So imagine he blows hot on your report. You are likely to forfeit most of the engagement within that period. And the amount of money at stake is no joke. So please, if it's an official work you are doing, if there's no policy to rate, then you have to sit down with your people, those who are your supervisors. It's not wrong to use AI, get a point, but there should be some rules governing what you do so that in case it becomes an official work that they submit, you can know how to defend when the call is made. You understand? Then the next point I will highlight is that there are types of tools when it comes to AI. Some are good at certain workflows or certain tasks. For instance, when it comes to the English kind of things, I will call it the English kind of like knowledge-based things, ChatGPT is solid at that side. But when it comes to analytics, engaging hardcore stuff, you have to go to another tool, which is called Claude by Anthropic. If you are very analytical, like you do a lot of analytical stuff, I think the current version of OpenAI ChatGPT is quite strong because of the models they have now. But previously, like 2 months ago, in terms of the quality of work you get out from your work, if you engage Anthropic's kind of platform, you get a better output, even for the slides. All right, if you use ChatGPT for slides, it will give a certain taste. Now I say the battle is on taste. Now taste is the major, like the hype is taste. But if you give the same content, the same everything to Claude will give you a very serious out because of the nature of the pre-training they have done. So know the right tool for the right task you want to do. And then finally, what I do is that because I know the ability of the tools, I will start with ChatGPT to get me, let's say, the raw content. Then for presentation, final delivery, I use Claude to do the delivery because writing and then is solid on ChatGPT. But when it comes to presentation, making it look good, Claude is better suited at it. So I just do my final work, do the readings, correct, then I'll hand it over to Claude to give me the final outcome. So let's learn to combine the tools, and then you can also escape the AI work. Once you do the tool, you can get it. I'm sure subsequently you will come to do much more sessions.
Yeah, so let me just say that the next session will also be on AI, but it will be a practical session. So I was just telling Senior that the next session, he together with Michael and then myself would do practical demonstrations. The reason we need multiple people is because we use AI differently. So for some people, maybe you probably want to use it in Excel. Some people would also want to use it for reports. Some people would want to use it for PowerPoint and so on and so forth. And some people also, like Senior is a programmer. So depending on your skills, you would find the 3 sessions that we'll put together helpful for you. So in the next session of School of Growth, to be an AI, but it will be practical. So that one, if you want to come with your laptop, I think you should be allowed to, because we'll do practical demonstration. So like Senior said, in fact, when you get to know the number of AIs that are available on the market, you even fear for your life. Some of them, when you hear, you probably have not even heard of them before. You see, so for instance, who has heard of Consensus AI?
Yeah.
You see, some people have not heard of Consensus AI. There are so many of them, I don't even want to start listing them. So I'm sure everybody knows ChatGPT. That one is the basic. And a lot of people are beginning to know that Claude is even superior to ChatGPT now. what Claude is doing is crazy. Some people have never heard of Claude before. If you've not heard of Claude before, don't raise your hand. We don't want to know it. So, but now a lot of people are moving to Claude because Claude has very powerful analytical power. The limits. Yeah, so the credits, that's why the practical session will be helpful, because someone like Michael, he knows a way around the tokens. You see, so that's why you need the practical sessions. The more serious thing is that we want people to grow and get better. And we don't put sessions together to come and waste your time. If you've been in any of our sessions, I don't think anyone has been in any session that has not been useful to you. We are always bringing new information. And I really wish sessions like this were available when some of us were as young as you. We are not old, but we are not as young as some of you. I'm talking about senior myself. We are not old, but we are also not as young as you. I always tell people that I've not been here for long, but I've been here for a while. So I really want us to take these sessions seriously. Some of us are looking for jobs. Some of us are working in places that we are not happy about. Some of us are working in places that there is great potential, but you've not tapped into the potential. So sessions like these are supposed to help us acquire the relevant knowledge. Some few months ago, Michael couldn't have sat here to do a presentation to us, but today he's doing a presentation. We are all listening. I'm taking notes. So just to let you know that you can have results to growth. So the next time it will be Gerald who will be handling a session for. I want us to get to that level where we don't have to think about who is coming to lead a session. I will not come and lead a session all the time, and I've proved clearly today that I will not be the one leading the session all the time. So every one of us, one day will tell Joycelyn, come and take us through this session. Even if you don't know the session, you have to go learn and come and teach us. That is the whole essence of School of Growth. So Bene will be telling you, come and lead us in your platemology or whatever she was saying. I'm not saying that. Perturbation. Just look at her. So we'll be telling people to handle different aspects of growth. So please, I entreat every one of us. It's not about coming to sit here. It's about making a conscious effort to learn and grow. So that if you even have a session that you want to facilitate, you can come and tell us that, oh, please, I want to facilitate a session on so and so. We'll create a platform. Any final questions so that we close? It's 1:30. Any final questions? So please, let's be on our feet.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the School of Growth podcast. If you enjoyed our conversation, don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to having you with us next time. Until then, take care and keep growing.